girl who was reported missing a few days ago, Heather Tyler.
Oh, the 17-year-old ran off with the boyfriend. What about her?
Well, we don't know that, Sarge, not for sure.
Oh, if I was a betting man, I'd give you 10 to 1.
Well, there's a girl in the front office, Ellison Gray. She says she's a friend of Heather. She wants to speak to Narika.
Well, that's her.
No, but Narika's out. She's checking on the relatives. They're very worried, Sarge. I wondered if you might have a word.
June, I have the quarterly analysis. I have the team breakdown to do before 3:30. I'm afraid Ellison Gray is going to have to wait.
Sarge.
Hello, Jeff.
You found her?
I'm afraid not. I was really calling around to see if you or Elaine had heard anything. And to see how you're both getting on.
Same as usual. Surviving. You haven't got time for a chat, I don't suppose?
Yeah, of course. Is your wife at work this afternoon?
She's gone into town. Talking about booking as a holiday. I don't know where she thinks we're going to get the money.
Or maybe it's not such a bad idea. Having something to look forward to.
Yeah, like Elaine keeps telling me. This came this morning. I thought you might be interested. You want to...
Heather's school report. Well, it's certainly very impressive. How's Elaine at the moment?
Like nothing had ever happened.
Well, everyone has their own way of coping. She was distraught when we first spoke about her sister.
Half-sister.
Yeah.
Look, you know, the first time you came round here and you asked if we'd had any problems with Heather, if there'd been any family arguments, and Elaine told you how close she and Heather were, right?
Are you saying they weren't?
Well, they used to be.
Jeff?
Elaine, I was just passing, so I popped in to see if you had any news.
Oh, it's very kind of you.
I think I'll just go and stick the kettle on.
If you look in my bag, you'll find some of those biscuits there that you like. And I got the local papers on the way home. There's a couple of jobs in there I thought you could write after.
You got time for a quick cuppa?
Of course she has. Taken this terribly badly, you know. He's not sleeping at all now, and he must have lost half a stone in the last 4 days. Oh, I see he's been showing you the school report.
Yeah, it's very good. Heather wouldn't have any trouble getting the grades for a university place.
Oh, I don't think she was that fussed. The only thing poor Heather was interested in was Jez. But like I kept saying to Jeff, it's Heather's life, and if that's who she's chosen, then it's up to her.
What do you mean?
Well... Between you and me, I don't think it went down too well with Jeff, the fact that Jez was, you know, coloured and didn't seem to have a proper job. I mean, if she as much as went out for 5 minutes, he was on to her, wanting to know where she was going, who she was going with. Well, if you treat a 17-year-old like that, you're bound to run into problems.
Yeah, you give him that one. Yeah? All right? Oh, how'd you go on with the Buckleys?
Odd. They're both taking me to one side and claiming the other one drove Heather away.
Well, there's nothing out of the ordinary about that. Initial shock's wearing off, guilt's beginning to surface. They're both looking for good reasons why Heather should leave.
It's more than that, Sarge. I just get the feeling they're not being entirely straight with me. Well, I better go and find out what Ellison wants to see me about.
Right.
Hello, Ellison. You wanted to see me?
Yeah. Heather's boyfriend, Jez Taylor. I saw him in a club last night.
Was Heather with him?
Well, that's the thing, right? He was with some other girl.
Well, did you talk to him?
Well, yeah. I went up and asked him if he'd seen Heather. And he was really funny to me.
In what way?
Oh, he was really offhand, you know, trying to pretend he didn't know what I was talking about in front of this girl. So I said to him, look, no one's seen Heather for the last 3 days, right? And up till now, everyone thought she was with you. So then he got really nasty and said, well, maybe you should try asking her other boyfriend where she is.
Has Heather been seeing someone else?
Well, not that I know of. And I think she'd have told me if she had. I mean, Heather and Jez were like, never apart. They're even talking about getting a flat next year when Heather goes off to Bristol.
Why would he think she was going out with anyone else?
I don't know. But the thing is, if he hasn't seen her, then I think something must have happened.
Sarge, can I have a word?
Yeah. Jez Taylor? You know a girl called Heather Tyler?
Yeah, so?
Well, she's been missing now for 4 days. Can we come in?
So, when was the last time you saw Heather?
Tuesday morning.
And where was that?
She come round here about 10, half past.
And what time she go?
I took her home about 3 o'clock.
Did you drop her at the door?
I dropped her in the next road. Jeff don't like me seeing Heather, so that's what we do to avoid trouble.
And what did you do once you'd left her?
I went up north. Stayed with a mate in Leeds for a few days.
How did Heather seem the last time you saw her?
All right, same as usual.
I've just been talking to her friend Ellison. She said you seemed to think Heather was seeing someone else.
Look, I really don't think that's any of your business.
Oh, no. If a 17-year-old girl goes missing, it's definitely our business. And what makes you think Heather was seeing someone else?
Well, put it this way, it weren't me that got her pregnant.
Heather was expecting a baby.
That's right, 10 out of 10.
When did you find out about this?
Day she went missing. She said she'd been to see the doctor about having an abortion. She wanted me to come down the clinic with her. So I said, don't you think you're asking the wrong person here?
Did she tell you who the father was?
She didn't tell me nothing. Just kept saying, oh, I shouldn't be angry with her. It wasn't her fault.
What did she mean by that?
She said she didn't want to, but the bloke wouldn't take no for an answer.
So she's saying she was raped?
When you first reported Heather missing, you said you last saw her at 8:30 that morning when she left the house to go to college.
Yes, that's right.
And you were both here for the rest of the day?
You went shopping about 3 o'clock.
No, it was earlier than that, because I remember going out straight after lunch, and I couldn't have been gone for more than an hour.
Well, either way, I was at home all afternoon.
We've just been talking to Jez Taylor. He says he hasn't seen Heather either since the day she disappeared. He's been staying with a friend in Leeds.
Have you checked up on him?
Yes, we have. And he seems to be telling the truth. Jess also said that the day that Heather disappeared, she came round to his flat. Then he gave her a lift back here that afternoon.
Well, he's lying then. And you would have heard her come in.
Well, the other possibility is that she didn't come straight home when he dropped her off.
What do you mean?
Well, he dropped her near the house. He didn't actually see her go in. And according to Jez, she was pretty upset when he left her.
Upset about what?
Apparently, Heather was 3 months pregnant.
Did Jez tell you that?
We have spoken with Jez. He says he wasn't the father.
Did either of you know she was pregnant?
No, not at all.
Well, I'm sorry we've had to break this to you, but obviously in a case like this, we have to follow up every lead.
So, I take it you've arrested Jez Taylor then?
Why would you think that?
Surely, after all the lies he's been spreading about Heather.
As we said, Mrs. Buckley, we have spoken with Jez Taylor, but at the moment we have no reason to believe that any criminal act has been committed.
So what happens next then?
Well, there is one other thing. If we could have the name of Heather's GP.
Yeah, she's with Dr. Gareth Ward, same as us, on Elcott Street. I took her there when she was off sick with her tummy.
Right, thanks very much. And we'll let you know if there's anything else. Yes, you're right. They're definitely trying to cover something up.
Do you want me to go down and talk to the GP, see if he knows anything?
No, I think I'd better go. You know, they won't normally divulge confidential information, but under the circumstances, they might make an exception. Give me the keys and I'll drop you back at the Nick.
Michelle, see this bit here?
Sorry, can I help you?
I was wondering if I could have a quick word with Sergeant Cryer, if he's about.
And your name is?
Mrs. Buckley, Mrs. Elaine Buckley.
Elaine? What's the problem?
Oh, well, I have a kind of confession to make. I lied to you about Heather. I did know she was pregnant.
I think it's best if we go in the other room. You can tell me exactly what happened without us being disturbed. Sit down.
The morning Heather went missing, She came downstairs and she said to me, Elaine, I've got something to tell you and you're not going to like it. And I said, well, Heather, whatever it is, the sooner you tell me, the sooner we can get it sorted.
Right.
Then she said, Elaine, you're going to kill me, but I'm going to have Jez's child, and we've decided we want to keep it. Well, I'm sorry. I know it was all my fault, but... And maybe I didn't respond in quite the right way, but... Well, no one in my family's ever had a child out of marriage before now.
Elaine, can I stop you a minute?
Yes?
Heather actually told you that Jez was the father of her child?
Yes, which is why I came straight down here. I mean, when you said that he'd been spreading all those lies about her, I thought I ought to just set the record straight.
So why didn't you tell us about it before?
Well, because of Jeff, really. I mean, when Heather went missing, he had a real go at me, and he told me it was all my fault, that I'd been too hard on her, and that I'd driven her away from home.
And she didn't mention anything about wanting an abortion. She definitely wanted to keep the child.
That's what she told me. And it was definitely Jez Taylor's child.
Yes.
Can I speak to W.P.C. Datta, if she's free?
I'm afraid she's with somebody at the moment. Can I help you?
Do you think when she's less busy, she could give me a ring? The name's Buckley. Jeff Buckley.
Jeff, what are you doing here?
Oh, I've brought another photo of Heather. Thought it might be a bit more up-to-date than the one you've got.
And there's nothing you want to have a chat about?
No, I don't think there is, really.
Oh, there you are, Norika. Can I have a word, please?
Well, if you don't need us any longer.
No, actually, if you could hang on for just 2 more minutes.
Well, we're in a bit of a rush at the moment.
No, that's fine. We'll wait.
Thank you.
Elaine's just changed her story. She said she knew all along that Heather was pregnant, that it's Jez Taylor's kid.
Yeah? Well, Dr. Ward has just told me that Jeff Buckley's the father. The brother-in-law. And he raped her.
Mr. and Mrs. Buckley.
Yes?
D.I. Johnson, D.S. Morgan.
Oh, yes?
Mr. Buckley, we'd like a word with you, please. On your own, if that's all right with you.
Well, whatever you've got to say to Jeff, you can say in front of me. We've no secrets in our marriage.
There's really nothing to be worried about, Mrs. Buckley.
You found Heather's body, that's it, isn't it? That's what this is all about.
It's nothing like that, Elaine.
So if it's nothing, why is everyone suddenly acting so hush-hush around me?
I'm ready when you are.
You blame me for all this, don't you? You think it's all my fault that she's gone?
Elaine, maybe we should wait in the interview room.
Well, I'm embarrassing you as well.
No, not at all.
You know, to hear everyone talk, you'd think Heather was some kind of saint. Model, pupil, model, daughter, model, anything you like, really.
What was she really like?
We used to get on when she was little, but the minute she came to live with us, she kept on trying to come between Jeff and me.
In what way?
Well, pretending butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, and then you'd see her in the back garden in a T-shirt and shorts, making out she was doing a revision. Well, don't know whose benefit all that was for. And then the way she'd look at me, like I was something the cat dragged in. Always offering to do my hair or come shopping with me for clothes.
You never had any kids, did you, Elaine?
No. Oh, I had all the tests and everything. Apparently it was my fault, not Jeff's.
How long have you been married, Mr. Buckley?
24 years.
Long time. And how would you describe your relationship with your wife?
Same as everyone, I suppose. We rub along.
And you met when you were how old?
Elaine was 18, I was 19.
Must have been very strange for you having Heather come to live with you.
In what way?
Well, she must have been very like Elaine was at that age.
Oh, wow. In looks, I suppose, but nothing else as far as I can see.
Were you attracted to Heather, Mr. Buckley?
She was a nice-looking kid.
Yes, but were you attracted to her?
She was my sister-in-law. I'm old enough to be her father.
It didn't stop you from sleeping with her, from getting her pregnant.
It wasn't like that. Not like you're thinking.
What was it like?
Heather and me, I cared about Heather. Oh, it sounds pathetic, a man of my age. I've no right to say it or even think it, but I loved Heather.
It's been a long time in there with Jeff.
It's only about 20 minutes.
How many times did you have sex with Heather, Jeff? Just the once or more than that?
Twice.
When was the first time?
Shortly after Heather came to live with us. She was upset about losing her mum and dad, obviously. And I was settling into a new home and a new school, and I was just someone she could talk to.
So that first time, you're saying it was with Heather's consent?
Yeah, I know it's hard to believe. Middle-aged, no-hoper and a 17-year-old. I was like a teenager, waiting for Heather to come home from college, getting all excited when it got nearly 4 o'clock, knowing she'd be home in half an hour.
Tell me about the second time you had sex with Heather. When was that?
3 months ago. Well, nearly 4. Elaine was out up at the allotment, and I heard crying coming from Heather's room, and I went in. There she was, cuddling to an old dressing gown of her mum's. And I sat down beside her, put my arm round her.
But it didn't stop there.
She said she didn't want to. She said, I tried to kiss her. She said, what we'd done before was wrong. But I don't know, I didn't mean to. It just happened that way.
So you had sex with Heather without her consent? You raped her? The day Heather went missing, you were at home the whole time, yeah?
Yeah.
But your wife went out for part of the afternoon just after lunch.
Yeah, that's what she told Marika and Sgt Cryer, but it was nearer 3 when she went out.
Jez Taylor said he dropped Heather off just after 3 o'clock, at which point you were in the house by yourself.
Yeah, as I said, if she'd come home, I'd have heard her.
What really happened that afternoon between you and Heather, Jeff? Did she tell you she'd been to the doctor, that she was planning to abort your child?
I didn't know she was pregnant. I didn't know. I think I know what you're driving at, and you're wrong. I cared for that kid. There's no way I'd do anything to hurt her.
You raped her.
I made a mistake. I admit that. It doesn't mean I'm a murderer.
Who said Heather's dead?
But that's what you think, isn't it? That I killed Heather?
June, is Norika still in there?
Yes, Carver.
Thanks. Mrs. Buckley.
Yes?
I'll be taking over from W.P.C. Datta from now on.
Where's Jeff? What's happened to him?
We've decided to hold your husband for further questioning.
What does that mean?
Exactly what I've said, Mrs. Buckley. There are a number of things we need to clear with him before he's free to go.
He's told you about the baby. He has, hasn't he? He's told you he was the father.
So you knew all along about him and Heather?
Wouldn't be blind, deaf and dumb not to know what was going on in that house.
But I bet he didn't tell you the whole story.
What is that, Elaine?
I bet he told you it was all his fault. Well, it wasn't. Because if it hadn't been for her deliberately flaunting herself around the house, Jeff wouldn't have looked twice at her. He wouldn't have needed to. Because the fact is, my sister seduced Jeff. Just went out of her way to break up my marriage and ruin my life.
Elaine, if you knew Heather was expecting Jeff's child, why did you lie to me?
You do think he killed her, don't you? That's what this further question's all about. Well, if you've charged my husband with murder, I've got a right to know.
Why do you think we've charged him with murder?
Elaine, is there something you want to tell us? Did Jeff kill Heather?
No.
Do you know who did?
I just wanted her gone. I wanted her out of my life. Once and for all. And when she told me about the child, I'd never been able. I knew he'd leave me. I knew he'd think that's what he had to do. And I didn't see why. I didn't see why I should be left with nothing.
When did Heather tell you she was pregnant?
Afternoon she went missing.
So she did come home?
No. I saw her getting out of Jez's van. I was going up to the allotment. So I said to her, if she had time to skive off college, she could come and give me a hand up there.
And what happened between you and Heather on the allotment?
She told me. She told me. She was having Jeff's child. She said, Elaine, why don't you open your eyes and see what a sham your marriage is? That's what she said. Just like that. So I picked up this hammer. Jeff's hammer. And I just hit out at her. And once I started, I couldn't stop. I suppose this means I'll have to go to prison. It's Jeff I'm worried about. We've never spent a night apart, not in 24 years. I don't think he'll be able to cope without me.